Tell me.
Margaret, Helen, and I. Well, when there's 3 children, there's always problems. And Helen and I sided with her. She was the middle.
Oh, yeah, they used to pick on me.
And one time we were going down the road, and I don't know where we were going, and we had an umbrella. And we didn't give her part of the umbrella.
Right.
So that's one of the things. And she screamed to the top of her voice. So Mama come out
TV
there.
Oh, man, they used to pick on me.
Mama
Did
come
they?
out there and got into it. Of course, you know what Mama did. She took up for the poor girl that didn't have nobody.
Right.
So we called her the Mama's pet. Do you remember that?
She had the easy part of all of it.
Oh, she
Growing
did?
I
up.
was the baby.
Yeah. 'cause
Me
she was
too.
the baby.
I'm the baby. I know
Well,
how that
Well,
is.
see, my older sister and I were in an orphanage for a whole year. But her mom, she was with our mother because you could go with her because she was housekeeping for Mr. Nettle.
I didn't remember that much.
And you could go with her, but we couldn't, so she had to put us in an orphanage. I got a picture of all of us in that orphanage.
Is that why y'all were in the orphanage and I wasn't?
Yeah.
I didn't know
Where
that.
was that? Newport
I
News?
didn't
No, where was that in Newport News?
It was in Hampton.
Hamden?
Georgewood School.
Huh?
Georgewood School.
Oh yeah.
Mama was a cook. Mama was a cook.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
How long were y'all in the orphanage?
We were in about a year, I think.
Yeah, and I don't think they did something right. Mama took them out.
Well, Mr. Nettles was getting married too.
Who?
Mr. Nettles was getting married.
Yeah, to Mama.
Huh?
He was getting married to Mama.
No, he wasn't.
That was Mr. Bright, wasn't it?
His wife died.
Mr. Nettles was getting married, so he didn't need our mother anymore.
Didn't your mom marry Mr. Bright?
Yeah,
Right. Mr. Nettles was the one your mom was working for,
right.
Yeah.
but she married Mr. Bright, not Mr.
And she was a sister of Miss Lawrence. And so when she died, and Mama was running from Mrs. Nettles. I mean, yeah, she was running. And
Plus 1 tablespoon,
I get all mixed up when I get trying to put all things together and all that.
Well, Mr. Nettles was getting married, so she couldn't keep that job
But he
anymore.
married.
She went and sold encyclopedias.
He married.
Yeah, it says 1.
He married.
So I need 2 containers. Yeah, 2 containers. Yeah.
He wasn't. He
Yes.
got married to Mama Margaret. 'Cause
Huh?
He got married to Mama because Miss Lawrence.
No,
was-
he did not. Mr. Nettles did not marry Mama.
That's it.
No.
Okay.
Where'd you get that?
I mean, Mama had this apartment in Greenville. The house that we lived in belonged to the Nettles.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's how. Oh, and that's how they met. And Miss Lawrence.
How she met Mr. Bright.
She told Mama that he was her brother-in-law,
Yeah.
and he needed a wife. So at first, she hired him as housekeeper.
Yes.
No. You got that
She
mixed
started
up.
off as housekeeper, and then they
You
ended up
got
getting
that
married.
mixed up.
Okay, just give us.
She never married Mr. Nettles.
She married Mr. Bright.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Mr.
Where do you getting Mr. Nettles?
Yes,
I
on
don't know where. I don't remember the name Nettles.
Well, he was going to get married, so she had to give up the job as housekeeper.
Love you too.
Right.
So then she went selling encyclopedias first
I know.
before she went to Greenville.
And that's why she put us with their relatives, because she couldn't be at home.
Right.
Okay. And she gave me to Aunt Zelda because she had a daughter my age.
I was with the worst one.
Who are you with?
I was with the worst one. I was with a cousin.
Well, what it is, Miss Cousin Lillian was, only had one girl, and she was a pet. And everything that, when they had arguments, she'd take up for her, you know. She was.
But
side
she
with-
always got the best of
She'd
everything.
side with her own.
So who was it? It was Helen was the oldest.
Helen was the oldest.
And
She got with
then
one-
she was next, and it's so the man that couldn't. Let's see, how was that good? He couldn't. I'll have to think about this a little bit.
What? Hey, well, let me ask you a question. What about what about the boys?
He had a boy named Robert that was Helen's age. He had
Carl was my
one
age.
named Carl, and that was Margaret's age. And then he had one named Ralph, and that was my age.
Okay.
And that's how that worked.
Okay. But let me ask you. What about? Go ahead.
We did live with them for a
I
while.
know it, Margaret. I played the
Yeah,
piano.
'cause-
some.
yeah,
I know it.
'cause our mother would play the
That's what I
piano at
said.
night. What'll I do? I always remembered that.
How did it go?
Mama would sing it. What'll I do?
I don't
when
remember
you are
how-
far away and I am blue. What'll I do?
Oh.
Do you remember that?
How long were we there?
I don't think over a year or so because
I don't think we were very
because
long,
we went to
no.
school with.
I think I started the first grade, didn't I?
I was in the second grade. Cause I had.
Well, I must have been in.
I was in the second grade because I had that.
I was in the first grade when I was in the orphanage, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I was in the second grade when I was at Aunt Zelda's.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Oh, I was older.
And
I was.
I remembered my teacher's
Oh, I
name.
was up higher than
And
that.
the teacher's name was Dennis Capps.
Yeah.
Remember Dennis Capps? He worked at the store.
He was your teacher, or you went to school with him?
Dennis Capps was, his mother was a teacher.
Okay, I remember Dennis Capps.
Mama, yeah.
Yeah.
And I can remember a lot back, and I remember that old mean rooster. He'd jump up on you and start pecking you. Remember that?
What?
He had a mean rooster.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Oh,
So when you were at Aunt Zelda's, how many years were you at Aunt Zelda's? How many years?
what?
How
How
long
many
were?
years were you at Aunt Zelda's?
At Aunt Zelda's?
Yeah.
I don't know whether it was 2 years or not. I
It
went to the
wasn't too
second
long.
grade. I think
It wasn't too long.
Second grade.
Yeah.
Oh, and then when did y'all come back together?
We
When she
all
went-
we
when she
all
moved
came
to
back on the
Greenville.
same train, and Mama met us with Mr. Lindsay.
Well, we
I don't know
lived
how
in
I
Greenville.
Huh?
We lived in Greenville.
I didn't live in Greenville then, not till she got the job with J.C. Penney's.
Well, we lived in Greenville then.
And I know that.
What I'm saying is, when did y'all? What grade were you in, or rough? How old were you when y'all came back together? Well, how old?
When
How old?
I was in the second grade because Dennis Capps' mama was my teacher.
Was that when y'all got back
Dennis
together?
worked at the shop, remember?
Yeah, I know him. When did y'all? You lived with the cousin, and you lived with.
We all lived
When
with
did she
cousins.
come back and get you?
We all lived with our cousin because she put me with Aunt Zelda because she had a daughter my age.
Right.
And she put her with cousin Lillian's, that she was not as close as kin. But she put her with cousin Lillian because she had a daughter her age. And she put Helen with the older, you know.
Right.
Because of her age. And they had a daughter that was Helen's age.
Right. But when did your
That's
mom?
the way they did it.
When did your mama come back and get you both? Like did y'all?
When she moved to Greenville.
And
When
how?
she got this job with Greenville with Mr. Earhart.
J.C.
Mr. and
Penney.
Ms. Earhart, and they became very close. And they invited us over to the house and all. And you'd have to stop and think. But anyway, that's the way that started. And
Oh.
then Mrs. Lawrence talked to Mama and told her that, see, Mr. Bright was her brother-in-law.
Right.
And so that's where that comes from. I have to stop and think now.
She didn't love him though. She just married him to make a home for us.
No, I know. That's what Granny said.
Yeah.
So when you met Granddaddy, when you met Robert, who was your first beau? Who was your first? Was Robert your first? Granddaddy your first like real boyfriend?
When I had others.
Well, I mean, but he was. How old were you when you?
Let's see, who was it? I used to date some of the other guys, but
My husband came to wanted to go out with you, and you had homework to do or something, and you couldn't go.
that was that's where you.
That's how I met Heber.
I know that. I remember that.
She
So
had
I
homework
went
to do.
instead. Yeah, I think you had homework to do or
I
something. You
did,
couldn't
and
go.
Mama wouldn't let me
So I
go.
went out with.
Mama
And then
wouldn't
that-
let me
from
go
then
out
on-
with him, so he
That's-
took her. He took her.
That's funny.
That's when it was. He took her.
Well, you know, when I met Patty, I was supposed to go out with her sister,
Uh-huh.
and her sister didn't take a liking to me. So that's how I met Patty. They were together, so Patty. So that's funny how that worked. Did you hear that, Patty?
That was how it's supposed to be.
That's right. That's how she met. What was his name?
Heber.
Heber. That's how she met Heber.
He was supposed to go out with Lillian, and she had homework to do, so I went out instead. And then we kept going together.
Wow.
Isn't that
I
funny?
can remember all that.
That's how strange how things happen.
I was
It
so
is.
upset, but
How you think about it, you know. Yeah.
and Mr. Bright, he never stepped in usually, but he stepped in there and he said I should not go out with Heber. That
Yeah.
I was engaged to Rhonda then.
Were you?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah.
So did y'all ever fight over boys?
So he didn't think that was right for me to go out with
Right.
when I was engaged to Robert.
Right.
See, Robert was kin to them. Robert's daddy, Mr. Spence, was
Related to Uncle John M, wasn't he? Wasn't he related to Uncle John M?
well, Uncle John Am and Mr. Spence were first cousins,
Yeah.
and cousin Ernest was cousins. See,
Yeah.
and I called him like Uncle Joe, and he was not my uncle, but he was kin to the Spences.
Right.
I called him Uncle Joe.
Yeah.
What's when y'all were growing up? What's the?
And that's when they took
What-
y'all out of the orphanage because they were kind of ugly.
Mm-hmm.
They was too strict.
I bet it was tough back then. That would, yeah, because they're different then than they were now.
She didn't like that, so
Right.
she took us out of there.
Right. What did
Well, you remember, Mama would bring stuff to Helen and we would never get it.
What?
And
You did what?
our mother would bring stuff to Helen and we would never get it.
Oh, I know.
So that's one reason.
Oh, I
she
got you at the orphanage.
She
Okay.
didn't want to keep us there.
Right. Wow.
Mama had some hard knocks.
It sounds like she came through it
She was
okay.
a strong woman.
Yeah. Well, y'all were strong
She
women.
started like the typhoid shot. You know, they met at one home, McGlahon, I remember that.
Huh?
McGlahon's. That's the house where they met to get the shots.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that.
And then Mama, there was a church built. There was no church there. There was a church building.
Yeah.
So Mama
She started that.
started the church there. Got
Yeah.
the preacher come, and she was a
I
superintendent.
think that's why there's so much religion in our
I
family.
do too.
Because of our mother.
Mama. I'll always say it was my mother.
Well, I think y'all both kept that in both our families because
Yeah.
you,
Well, it was
your
embedded in
family,
us.
your side of the family is very religious, and Granny yours too.
Even though I joined the Catholic Church, it's not much difference in their beliefs at all.
Right.
And my mother she never lived like the Catholic Church.
I know that. I know that. She was very upset when you were going to marry him.
She was upset about it, but our mother did not understand the Catholic religion.
Right. Right.
And that was the whole thing.
Did y'all ever fight over boys?
No.
No, we were too much different in the age.
Okay, right,
Yeah, it
right,
was.
right. What's the silliest thing that you remember her doing that makes you laugh when she was a kid? Like, did she used to do any one thing particular on Margaret
I don't
that
remember that. Anything particular that you would do that?
made her laugh? Like when you were a kid, you know, like for instance, Dawn, when she was little, you know, makes me chuckle how she would not let go of Mom's leg. You remember how she would stay right beside Mom's side, Dawn. But things like that, I didn't know if there's little things like that when y'all were kids.
Well, see, we weren't around our mother too much, were we, Lillian?
And as far as back to Dennis Caps,
Mm-hmm.
well, see, and he got this job. I already knew him because I had played with him as a child growing up because we
Yeah,
all used to
because-
get together in Zelda. So
Dennis Caps would play over at Aunt Zelda's?
Dennis Caps, he wanted to take me riding on a motorcycle.
I know he did, and he did.
He did it, and I never will forget that.
Yeah.
He come by and I told Chris, my neighbor across the street, that he was coming to take you riding on a motorcycle.
Oh,
And
yeah.
She and Charlie sat on